So what's the problem? One of the problems is the councils not always being aware in real time of street-based problems. Equally, the public not taking responsibility for sorting out those street-based problems. We felt that there was a problem in terms of how do we create greater efficiencies for the council by co-producing services with people. So essentially getting people to pick up some of the slack. And then fourthly, we thought it was really interesting how can we create these services that can, that their ultimate objective is actually to create new social interactions, to actually build communities. So the service itself has a value, but so does the community interaction and the sociability that you create off the back of it. So we came up with a serious game, not so serious game, that enables the council and the public to co-produce, making an area in your street a little bit nicer. And we're calling it Call of Duty. It's got a phone, right? It's got a phone. And so, who's it for? It's for the community, all of the community, in order for them to get what they want, i.e. their streets repaired in a more efficient way. It's also for them to take responsibility, and it's also about them creating new social relationships. But really what it is, it's a game version of Fix My Street. So the idea is that you report any of those issues, faults really, but you get points. And points mean? Okay, so the way that we see working out, it's mobile based. There's three functions to it. There's a report strand, there's an update strand on stuff that you've reported, and then there's a community social gaming community strand to it. So the report strand works really simply. It knows where you are, it knows what time it is, so it kind of auto logs that. What we thought was really interesting that you decide on what the outcome should be. So you decide whether it should be something that should be fixed kind of immediately, whether it's something that should be investigated, or whether it's something that should potentially be something that the community sorts out for themselves. So these needn't be, you fix my pothole. It could be, there's a bit of derelict land here and nobody's really doing anything with it. Should we do something with it? So it's about, kind of widening the conversation. So you decide the outcome, and then what we thought was really interesting was that you prioritise where your request goes in the queue. So rather than, I want this fixed, and I'm assuming that you're going to fix this straight away, what you get is sort of an idea of all the other things that have been requested. And then you are asked to put yours in that list. And I think that's a really, really lovely idea, because it's giving you responsibility in prioritising where these things go, and also thinking about what else is important and giving you a greater sense of sort of civic consciousness, I think. So that's how the report function works. Really simple. I'm here, this is what I want done with it, and this is how important I think it is. Then the update function is basically telling you, the council can tell you what's been sorted, what's being sorted, what hasn't been sorted, a sort of messaging platform. So there needs to be some kind of feedback loop with whether it was something that you wanted to do with the council, or whether it's something that you wanted to do with your community, some sort of notification. Then the impact, so actually what difference has this made? So that could be the council updating you on things that have changed, how their priorities have changed, but equally it could be loads of pictures of how those areas are now just a little bit prettier. So it needn't be, here are all problems, or here's kind of what we've changed. And I think those sort of things motivate people to carry on using that service. And then just other things that have been reported recently by area, by time. But where we were having some fun was on the whole points thing. So you would, it's really important that what people find is not a civic app for social consciousness, it's a gaming community, and there's a leaderboard, and it's people, and there's points, and you can find yourself on that leaderboard. And within that, it's not only just finding, so you would see Noel has just got 50 points for reporting fly tipping. But also underneath it, Susan has just exchanged her points for cheaper access to the leisure centre. So what we want to try and do is make those points, create a currency out of those points, and then those points to be actually exchanged and swapped. So when you find the application, not only is it something that you think, oh, I better do this, but actually you're seeing where the incentive is for you, or what incentive the community is getting from using the service. There'd be penalties. We decided we would penalise people who maybe always try to prioritise their thing right at the top. So at least what you're doing is creating, the community is kind of organising things for the council. And then there's your own profile. Is there anything on that? I think that was everything. Yeah. So in terms of what it needs to be successful, strong game design, and we'd involve game designers up front, and then we'd make it work with IT systems rather than involving IT system people up front. I think we've got to make sure that it feels it has the right tone for the right audience in the right way. Active user involvement. I think we've got to have a really motivating reward at the end of it. I think we need to make sure that we do engage with the council teams so that they can deliver on the communication that they're receiving. I think we felt that it should feel like an experiment, and that's quite upfront. So being able to talk to people about this is something that we're tinkering with, rather than this is something that's necessarily going to work straight away. And then what can we do? Well, we did it in our group, right? So we had Tracy, who's going to commission it or look for funding. We can build it like that. Tanya, who can study the impacts of it and how communities use it, and Stephanie, who can connect it up with everybody. And then that was it, I think.